Hi, Joe Cerrone, CAD-230 Introduction to Solidworks. And this is an introduction Zoom meeting to talk about the course today. I'll put the announcements here in the main splash page. And so I have a brief welcome introduction. This is the 6 p.m. meeting on August 31st. The textbook is SolidWorks 2020 Basics, and we'll be following that book and going through the exercise within that. You can get a copy of the book by clicking on the link to Amazon and ordering it from Amazon. You can go back to the 2019. I'm not sure if the 2018 is exactly the same, but the 2019 is, from what I can see, almost identical. You'll need a copy of the SolidWorks student version. If you do have a copy on there already, just go ahead and continue to use it until it expires. If it is expired, you'll need to remove it or uninstall it, and then you can install the new version. And Sebastian did a great job of creating videos for this course. Sebastian is the instructor for Mechanical Design, MEC 105, Process Materials, and Advanced AutoCAD. He's a very good design engineer, and he's working in the industry. And so I had an opportunity to upgrade the online teaching of this course, and so he did a lot of the videos and organization of the course. There's other support options for students. You know, if I think the best way to go is to just have it downloaded on your computer, since you can do that. You'll use this SolidWorks Design Kit ID SDK-ID 9SDK 2020. And all they really do is change the year on it from 2019 to 2020. But there's a good video on how to download that. The other way is that you can VPN into the Oakton CAD lab and run it from there. I haven't really tried this, but it does work from what I hear from the people in engineering graphics. So if you do need that, send me an email and I'll hook you up with our IT team for tech support. Okay, content. Overview. If we work these tabs from top to bottom, essentially we've gone through and put some introductory videos on how the course is going to run. Student version of SolidWorks. Okay, you can just click on this link and it'll bring you to the SolidWorks site. I recommend using your Oakton email or a .edu email. I don't know if it will work with like a Yahoo or a Gmail account, because it is a student version and they want to see an educational email for that. They also have a CAM version. I was going to try to put on the SolidWorks CAM this semester, but couldn't quite get it off the ground. I did some consulting with it. It's really nice. If you do want to do prototyping, it's got a post processor in it, which means that it makes G codes and you can run machines with it, which is very big because most of your CAM softwares don't do that. So eventually we'll get this off the ground. We'll try it again next semester and see if we can get that going. But in the meantime, SolidWorks is going well for us here at the college. College policy and procedures here. You can get the book from SDC or you can get it from Amazon. The bookstore, I'll double check. They should have books there, and sometimes there's a bit of a glitch, but I figure everything is fine unless I hear otherwise. So you can make an appointment with the bookstore. If you find that there is a problem with it, let me know. I can always let you borrow one of my older books if you need to. On that note, I did scan in some of the first few chapters for the book. So the textbook is available here. And so I have the first 4 chapters scanned in. And so you can go ahead and work off of those until your book arrives. Let me double check. Good, doesn't look like anybody else is here. Okay, so as we look at the course, what it's basically going to run like is with these book tutorials, and then I've also added some additional content from my previous courses, because Sebastian, when he went through and put the course together, is very good about including everything in the textbook. And I like to do some other auxiliary exercises because I find that if you do a lot of really easy things, you get much better at it than if you try to do some of these textbook exercises, which are kind of like following a recipe from a cookbook. So I do have some videos for those. I call them bonus exercises. They're not required, but they're good. They get you used to using SolidWorks. There's a pretest. One of the things that we do at the college is they want to just see if anybody's learning anything. And so, you know, you can get through the whole course and go, oh, I didn't learn nothing. Well, you know, I tried, you know, it's not, I can't make people learn things, and sometimes they don't want to, but I do have to go and have some kind of an evaluation method. And so the pretest isn't counted, you know, it just gives an idea of what you have a basic background in it. The people that are in attendance to the meeting, some of them have some background skills, they've gone to college or they've worked in some other manufacturing companies. But we do get students that are right out of high school that have never taken, you know, these type of courses. And so we do want to have kind of a baseline where we can see the level of knowledge that students have so that it doesn't get boring, so that we can keep it interesting. So take the pretest. If you click on the pretest, it'll go through and it'll hook you up to the quiz, and it'll be a multiple choice quiz. Modules, I have them set up to go off every week. I let module 2 start today also so that you guys can get kind of a heads up. But module 1 is not due until 2 weeks from now. And so that's typically how I'll set up the return work for the course. They'll start these modules and the beginning dates are listed here. So it'll begin the 27th, the 31st, the 7th. And I've got 12 modules up until November 23rd. Now we sometimes wind up pushing them back a little bit into a week or two. So I like having it, you know, at this point. We can always stretch it out a little bit, but sometimes we can be overly ambitious and then not get everything done. So we have 12 modules and it goes through these different chapters for the textbooks. The final exam is going to be like the CSWA, and I get these vouchers. And so if you haven't heard of the Certified SolidWorks Associate Exam, it's an exam that you can get certified by SolidWorks, and essentially the book teaches to that. And so you'll create these parts and then analyze the parts' mass properties and answer questions. And if you can do that within the designated time period, you can pass this exam. And it's not an easy exam. We'll talk about that a little bit farther down the line. As far as, do I have to take the SolidWorks Associate exam? No, you can take my final also. You know, some people might say, well, I'm not ready. But I do give you a voucher, and it costs $100 for each voucher, and they give them to me. So I don't pay for it. I get them because I have the license, and I will provide you with that license number or that voucher number if you decide to take it. If you don't, then I just can give that to Mike Durso, who teaches the intermediate course, and you can take the course, the SolidWorks Certified Associate Exam in the intermediate course. With that said, if we look at Module 1, Module 1 basically is Chapter 1 and 2 and 3 of the textbook. And Chapter 1 really just kind of talks about SolidWorks, Chapter 2 about the interface and setting up things like templates, and then Chapter 3 kind of really gets into how you work SolidWorks. And so most of the content comes from Chapter 3, and these are the exercises from the end of the chapters. And if you click on this link right here, you'll see a PDF of the textbook to get you started until you get the textbook from the bookstore or you order it. And then as we look at it, the course is really, I like it because instead of shooting from the hip, you have a textbook that kind of goes through and recaps it. And then what I also like about it is there is questions at the end of the chapters, and we'll use those for quizzes. And so as I kind of scroll through this information, these questions, and I'll double check that Sebastian has the questions the way I had them, but typically they tie into the end of the chapter questions. And so if you look at the questions at the end of the chapter and you do those, you'll be prepared for the quiz. Okay, back to module 1. That's the first link. And then videos. And so, you know, I thought about redoing the videos and saying, well, since I'm teaching the course, I should do the videos. But as I looked at the videos, they were really very well done. And I thought there's no reason for me to do the same video over again. So rather than to do that, I decided to bring in some bonus content. And so if I click the play button on this, and let me know if you guys don't see this or if it doesn't play.
This is a video for chapter 1. Basically, once you have SolidWorks open, chapter 1 just goes over all the different configurations and options that you can set up for SolidWorks. It's really not that important, especially in the beginning of the course at any time. Going back to applications for drawings, we're going to dwell into all these options. There's display options.
So I really like the way Sebastian went through this because he's working with this on a daily basis and he goes through it kind of from top to bottom. And if you have a home version of the SolidWorks, you can set it up, customize it the way you want it. And so I like the way the videos are set up. And that's the chapter 1 video. It kind of goes through and recaps what's in the book. If I come back here, let's make sure I stop it. Back here to module 1. And then if I look at the next link here, interface part A, and I'm going to mute you. I think I know who this is, but not sure. If you do want to get back, just raise your hand or have to do something. But at this point, I'm just going to mute you at this point. Chapter 1 has a video, chapter 2 has a video. The interface video is excellent. I really like the kind of nuts and bolts way that we had the course redone. So you'll go through and you'll work these exercises. So it'll be lab 1, A, B, and C, and those correspond to the textbook in chapter 3. And so this is lab 1A, lab 1B, and lab 1C. And then after you've completed them, you'll take the multiple choice quiz. Now I don't think you guys can see this, so let me turn it on so you can see it. And essentially, the quiz will be, and I have to double check, but I believe it's questions from the end of the chapter regarding this material. Bonus assignments. And so this is some of the content that I had from teaching the course previously. And I used to teach the course with the guy who teaches out at Elgin Community College. And I've been very fortunate to know some really good SolidWorks guys. I started teaching high school in the 90s, and the guy who runs tech support at CAD-230 was one of my high school students. And he runs all the SolidWorks support. And so Josh is out there and he's teaching up at College Lake County. He's excellent. Chris Sikora is out at Elgin. Him and Josh are probably 2 of the best SolidWorks guys that are teaching the course. I was grooming one more guy, but he took a job over there at Elgin. He was going to be my SolidWorks CAM guy, but I couldn't get him in the door before somebody else got him. So I have really good team members, and the guys are good at teaching the courses. my experience with teaching it is I do a lot of different things, but I am good at developing curriculum and putting out the assignments. And so I like these exercises because they're really not that difficult. And so I basically just kind of scanned them in, and then I created some videos. I've got one more to do. I worked the part on this, but I didn't quite like the way this interior feature turned out. So I haven't made the video for that. But you don't have to do these exercises. They're there for you if you want to just kind of dive into SolidWorks. And so in the bonus labs, I've got these video links.
Bonus exercise 1. Hi, Joe Cerrone. I'm going to go and work this exercise today. This is and what we're going to click on the sketch tab, and I'm going to select sketch, and I'm going to sketch on the front plane. I'm going to start by sketching and I'm going to trim those as well.
So I do these videos, I like them, relatively short. So these are like 5 minutes. And the time on these, I think they estimated 30 minutes. So they're not that difficult, in my opinion. And so those are bonus labs. And then when we get down to the module 1 labs, for anybody that's attending that just got here, introduction just talks about the course. You'll notice the introduction video was done by Sebastian. Sebastian kind of retooled the course for us to be able to develop it online. And then rather than redo everything, I'm using Sebastian's videos and I'll add my own content. Student version of SolidWorks, okay? Download the student version of it. If you have difficulty downloading it, send me an email. I have some guys that can help you with that. You can get the 2020 version or the 2021, or if you want to use the 19 version, you can do that. You can just change the SDK from 2020 to 2019. Policy and procedures, you'll need the textbook. And then from a standpoint of navigating and working with the software, here's the instructions. This is an excellent video, SolidWorks download instructions, because he actually went through and installed it on his computer. So if you're wondering, do I have a serial number? Do I need to check that box off? Watch the video. And the answer is no, you don't have a serial number. They will provide you with one, and have your phone and just take a picture of it when they give it to you, so you have someplace that can load that number in there. Back to the course. There is a course syllabus. As we look at the course syllabus, the course is Intro to SolidWorks. We're going to go through theory and the applications of SolidWorks modeling techniques for product design and manufacturing. Essentially, when you start working with SolidWorks, there's a lot to it. It's a very complicated program. And it took me some time to kind of wade my way into it because I was using AutoCAD for so long. But once you get past the learning curve, it's not too bad. And so the way that the course works is we spend a lot of time in the beginning doing sketches and just basic parts. And then as we get farther into it, we'll get into what they call features or three-dimensional parts and more complicated models. There's some examples of sheet metal in the book, and there's some examples of photorealistic rendering and animation, and we can work with those as well. As far as what we'll be doing, learning objectives is a big thing at the college now. They want us to define those, and so here they are. Describe engineering processes, compose 2D sketches, build 3D parametric models, etc. Academic integrity, do your own work. It's one of these things where you just don't want to be on the wrong side of the fence on it. And it's usually by accident, plagiarism. They have all these robots now that check whether you type something in from the internet, and the next thing you know, it's like, So you have to be a little careful with it. Everything is in here, but for the most part, most people do just fine, doing their own work. if you're not doing really well with it, you know, just send me an email, let me know if you need some extra assistance. But academic integrity is just one of those issues you want to be aware of. So as we look at the outline of topics, we're basically going through the textbook from chapter to chapter. And so we'll create sketches and relations, part drawings. We'll do assembly work. We have a midterm. We'll go through some of these other features like Hole Wizard. I do like to put in a 3D printer project. I've got all these 3D printers and they're awesome. You know, I'm hooking up these Dremel printers. They're like $2,500 and they do a great job. We did some work making face shields for emergency responders and stuff like that. And they were very well received. Again, we've got a good group of talented people working at the college that were able to put those things together. But getting back to the outline of topics, the topics will be managed by D2L, and all you have to do is follow the modules, and you'll see on the content tabs that when those will come active. Methods of instructions, it's basically a hands-on course, you know, with demonstrations, and we demonstrate with videos. And so we'll do the work, we'll place them on videos, and then, you know, you can expect to spend a good 10 hours outside of class doing the work. It's recommended you maintain a portfolio or you keep the files because it just gives you something to talk about when you do get a job interview. You have some content that you can show. Let's see here. If you need to get a hold of me, you can email me. It's probably faster to use the D2L email because I'm in there and I get so much email in my regular email, it might get overlooked. I'll have weekly Zoom meetings. Right now I've got them set for Mondays at 6 o'clock. And the reason I put them on Mondays at 6 is because that's the time the course was scheduled to be offered. We can certainly make a different meeting times for those. If what I find is as I run the meetings, certain people attend and certain people don't. And so if you're one of those people who likes to attend the meetings, we'll have them on Mondays at 6, but I can also reschedule those if we get people who want to have it at a different time. So the way that it breaks down is labs are 30%, midterms 20, finals 25%, 10% for midterm for quizzes, modeling quizzes 15, and then 3D printer hands-on project. It looks like we've got that set as extra credit, but it'll probably wind up in the labs and homework column. Straight 90, 80, 70, 60 grading scale. Most people do just fine, you know, and if you do the work, you should not have a problem getting a B. Most people, if they, you know, stick with these courses, if it's for them, they don't stay in the courses if they're getting a low grade. And so we recognize that, and it's the introductory courses, you know, set up. If you do the work, you should be fine to get a B. To get an A, you have to do all the work and you have to do very well with it because it's a competitive job market out there. We don't want a bunch of people going out there saying, hey, I'm an excellent student, because it's tough out there. It's better sometimes to come in there as a B, and I'm a B student myself. Other course information, if you have a documented or even undocumented learning, psychological or physical disability, they have accommodation services, and they're excellent with that. You know, so if you do have any special needs, we can put you in contact with somebody who can provide things like that. You know, whether it's something like you need more time on tests or you have difficulty, you know, with certain aspects. We've had students that need closed captioning. So that's one of the reasons I use YouTube, is because you can add closed captioning without much work. And then from another aspect, you know, there's all kinds of bad things that happen to people, and they have these resources for you in support. So if you do need some support, you know, they have a very good support team here. And if you don't want to use the support and you just want to talk to me or something like that, you know, feel free to send me an email and I'll be happy to see if there's anything I can assist you with. A lot of times it's guys who are having babies in the class, and they say, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to have a baby pretty soon, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. And that's quite all right. You know, we don't want you to miss something important like that for a course. All right, so getting back to the course, that's the syllabus. There's a pretest, and the pretest is not counted, but it gives me an idea of what area or what knowledge you have. And then we're starting off with module 1 today. Module 1 I've pretty well covered already. You know, you just work this from top to bottom, and then you take that information, you'll do the quizzes, and then you will put those into the assignments folder. And then the first assignments are due September 14th. And I'll take those and I'll grade those and I'll give you feedback on those. Back to the content. Bonus, I put together these bonus assignments for anybody that wants more work. And so this was content that I was using from when I taught the course. And I've been teaching the course for quite a while, but we revamped it. And so some of the older content, I just like it because they're straightforward and they're not real difficult. So that's the way the course lays out. We'll do these modules, and you'll notice that the modules will become available on your calendar. There's a midterm scheduled October 5th. And then the final is scheduled December 3rd. And so you can mark your calendars for that. But all in all, we've been doing the courses for quite a while. They run well. If you do need some additional help or tutoring, you can go over here and message me, request a Zoom meeting, and we can do that. So with that, I'm going to come back to the main splash page, and I'm going to wrap up this recording, and then I'll open it up for questions. So again, just a quick introduction. This is a briefing made by me about the course. I'll have these Zoom meetings on Mondays at 6 p.m. Textbook, here's the link to it. Student version of Solidworks. And like I said, there's a great video on how to install the Solidworks on your computer. And then they have support for you if you do have difficulty getting the Solidworks to work. You can VPN in, and VPN is connecting to a computer at Oakton from home. Okay, I'm going to stop this recording, and then I'm going to open things up for questions, and I'll post the recording for anybody who might not attend.